Hello and welcome to this new video on how to configure and install DNS on Windows Server 2022. Just a quick information before we get into the lab. This video is part of a extended series based on Windows Server 2022. So just in case if you're new to the channel or if you're new or unaware of this whole playlist, you can just go and check out the whole playlist, which I will pin below in the description, and also like you can see it on the pointer somewhere. And yeah, like you can check out different videos, and if you enjoy this series, if you like this video, and if you got additional information out of this video, make sure that you hit the like and you can subscribe for like different projects just like these, and kind of stay updated as well. And yeah, this helps me in terms with the YouTube algorithm, and yeah, more people can basically watch this video. So yeah, just feel free to check out other different projects, other different topics that I've covered till now in this channel. Yeah, so enough talking, let's just jump into our lab. So now we are going to focus on DNS on Windows Server 2022. So yeah, we're going to talk about the installation process, and we're going to walk through those steps. And also we are going to talk about configuring and managing the DNS. As far as the dependencies are concerned, what you need is you need an installation of Windows Server 2022, which can either be a physical installation or a virtual machine. You also need administration level privileges on that server. And just in case if you're not sure how to set up virtual machine of Windows Server 2022, you can go back and check out that video first, which is like the first video of this series. And yeah, and then dive into this video now once you've done that. As far as the installation process with Windows Server, if you're setting up a domain on your server, so Active Directory, and you're like you are configuring the domain, it's going to automatically install DNS for you. This step we also done in the previous video, just the video just before this, where we installed and configured the Active Directory domain services. So yeah, if you already done this part, yeah, like you don't have to really do it, but also like in general, like it's really nice that you can get information, and like you can get more out of what you can do with the DNS. So yeah, also just in case if you don't, or if you didn't do that, then you will like actually have to go through these steps and install the rollup for DNS. So the very first thing that you need to do when you're setting up DNS is you need to assign a static IP address. And basically there are like few different ways that you can do it. The first one is that in the server manager itself. So like here in the server manager, you can jump to like local server, and when you click on this, like it will open up a menu for you. And here all you have to do is like you have to click on this part which says IPv4 address assigned by DHCP. So this opens the network connections for you. And like the other way that you can also do is like you can basically go to the start menu, and once you go to the start menu, just type view network computers and device, and basically it will also bring you to the same place. Actually I had the wrong one. Type view network connections, and it will basically open up the same dialog box for you. And yeah, so what we'll do is like we will click on the Ethernet 0, and here like right click on it and click on properties, and like it will jump into a small dialog box. And now what we have to do is like here you need to assign an actual static IP address instead of obtaining it from the server. So what we'll do is like we'll select the following IP address. So we'll do is like we click the IP protocol version 4 and then properties and here. So we will just type our own IP address. And so in the IP address, what you will type is 192.168.163.133. So if you click on subnet mask, it will automatically enter the subnet mask for you, and in the default gateway you will type the .1 for your IP address. And then also like we will use the following DNS server address. So the preferred DNS server would be this 127.0.0.0.1. So we are going to actually use our local system for this DNS server, and then we will just hit OK and we will hit close. So yeah, now what you really have to do is now you actually have to restart your system. And if you don't restart your system, you're going to keep getting errors about not having a static IP address. So we're just going to go ahead and go to the start menu, and then we will basically restart our PC and yeah, come back once it's loaded up and logged in. So once you have logged back to your server under server manager, so here what you have to do is like you have to go to manage, and after manage you're going to go to add roles and features. So on this first screen here we are going to just hit next. You can like basically read in general what it says. We're going to now select role-based or feature-based installation, and then we are going to select next. You have to select your server where you are going to install DNS. So we'll select that and hit next. So this one. And yeah, after you're done this, now we are going to actually select the DNS server as the feature that we're going to add. So DNS server, and yeah, then you're going to make sure that this checkbox is like checked, and we're going to hit on add features, and then we are going to select next. This is just going to tell us basically after you click next here, it was that we get a bit more additional information and tell us about more about DNS. And yeah, we are good with that. So we are going to hit next, and then we want to actually make sure that here this checkbox is checked to restart the server if required. This is going to say, do you want to allow automatic restarts? We are going to select yes, and we are going to hit install. So at this point, when you just have to like wait a bit once the installation is complete, and then we come back to it again. So now it says that the installation has succeeded, and afterwards, so what we do is like we just go ahead and hit close. And normally like there are two ways that you can access the DNS tools. The first way is in the server manager under tools. So here when you click you see DNS, and yeah, like you're going to have DNS right here, so you can select that option. The other way is if you go to the start menu, so here, and then you go to the Windows administration tools. So when you go to the administration tools, and here you will see that there's DNS here as well. So either way, it's going to get you to the same tools. It doesn't matter like which one you choose really. It just matters, it's like basically a matter of preference for which one you want to use. Now, like what we'll do is like for the rest of the video, I'm going to use an installation of Windows Server 2022 that I have where it's like already has active directory domain services installed. So just in case if you don't know this, as I mentioned before, you can go back to the previous video where I had installed and configured the active directory domain services, and you can hop back in to this video again. Now something just in general, something that we might deal with DNS is something called a forward lookup. So forward lookups and DNS allow you to provide a name like a system name, and the DNS server is going to associate the IP address to that name. So what we are going to do is we are going to go to the server manager, so like here, and we're going to go to tools. You can see the tools here, and then to DNS. Then once it opens up on the left here, so on the left here, what we're going to do is like we're going to select our server, and after selecting our server, what we're going to do is like we will expand the forward lookup zones, so the forward lookup zones, and then after we have done that, then the demo lab in our domain. So once you've done this, I'm going to go ahead and click on this as you could see, and then now you can see here this last entry that in our current server's name. So this one, what you can see, maybe I can expand this a bit. It's easier to look. Yeah. And now, yeah, so if I open it up, and here what we can do is like we can go to command prompt, and yeah, so yeah, just in general, if you also don't know, you can just go to start menu and just click CMD or command prompt, and you can open up the command prompt. And now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to type ping and OS 101, so that's the name of my server, and then click on enter. And what you will notice is that we are getting the responses from that ping because that is like our current server. So if we are like out of some another system and we use that name, we could actually ping that name instead of providing the IP address. So now if we go back, so like go back to our DNS tools here, and what we can do is like here, click on like do the right click and in the empty space, and we will select like host A or quad A, so one of this. Now we are going to put in a name here. So yeah, it has to be like a custom name. Let's say trial. And yeah, and just so you can see that nothing is going to come up right now, and what I will do is like again I will ping trial, and yeah, that's the name that I have not submitted yet, but I just put it in the field. And as soon as I like clicked on enter or hit enter after pinging it, there's nothing going to happen, so it's not going to find anything as there's no host was found with that name. So what we can do is like going back by viewer, and here like we're going to use the same IP address as our current server. So our IP address was 192.168.163.133. So once you've done this, also like make sure that you click on create associated pointer PTR record and click on add host, and yeah, just click on OK. Now we jump back to our command prompt, and here what we will type is we'll type ip config /flush DNS, and what basically this does is that it will like refresh all the DNS information that our system knows about. And now what we can do is like we can go and ping. So ping trial, and now what you'll notice is that it starts pinging again. So basically it returns us the ping information, and that it actually finds our local system. So now we have like two different A records that are associated to our local system. Now the next thing that I want to talk about is interfaces with DNS. So like, let's say if a system has multiple IP addresses or interfaces, you can actually limit which IP addresses are going to serve DNS requests. So yeah, for this, if we have to go ahead and go back to the server manager. So here, and what we'll do is like we'll go to tools and select DNS. So we are going to then select our server, which is here. So on the left hand side, and in this, so for you, whatever you chose it back then. And yeah, what we'll do is like we'll click on, like do the right click on it and click on properties. So this is going to take us to like this dialog box, which you can see it here. Now by default, it's selected to all IP addresses. If we want to limit it, we can select like this only following IP address, so here. And afterwards, like what you can do is like we can select whichever ones that we want to allow. So this first one, this is going to be IPv6 for this. The second one is IPv4, so we can just uncheck it. Let's say we uncheck this, and then you can click on apply and OK. The next thing I want to talk about is root hints. This is another common use of DNS. So now root hints are useful if your DNS server can't resolve a DNS query locally from a hosted zone or from like the DNS server cache. So now what you can see is like this is also exactly in this same window here, and here in the another tab, it's called root hints. So now you can go in here and you can add like here like from additional root hints, or you can edit or remove other ones, and you can see there's a fully qualified domain name like here with the dot at the end of it, or like or a period. And then you have IP addresses here. The other thing that I want to like talk about as well is like the forwarders. So like really quick talking about forwarders, and yeah, again they are like in another tab which are called forwarders. So forwarders are DNS servers that your DNS server can use to resolve DNS queries that it can't resolve itself. DNS is going to use forwarders first before it tries to use root hints. So like in here you can edit the information. So here you can see that you can edit the information, and if you want you can like add different IP addresses in there, and then you can just click like hit OK, and yeah, then apply, and then that information will get set in your DNS settings. So yeah, this was like really the basic information about DNS, how it works and how you can install it, how you can configure it, and how you can manage it in Windows Server 2022. So yeah, this was about it. about the whole video about DNS. And yeah, I hope you could get to learn different things, new things about it, and like how to configure certain stuff. Make sure that you also, yeah, like go hands-on into this topic, like check out different things, like you can, yeah, try around different things. Like if you have, as I said, if you have VM Pro, so like the workstation pro version, you can, like, before, just take a snapshot, which is like this full backup, and yeah, just try different things, and just in case you mess up, you can always go back to your, like, the setup before, which worked for you. And yeah, also what's really important is that, like, you do these things yourself. So once you do things, like, you get to know it and have more information, or things are stored in your brain much more properly, rather than just watching it or reading it or things like this. And yeah, if this video was helpful for you, like if you enjoyed, if you got new things to learn, make sure that you hit the like button, that you can also subscribe for different projects, different videos that are yet to come, that are on the pipeline, and yeah, which can help you learn different things as well. And also it helps the YouTube algorithm for me, that it's pushed more, and like more people can watch this. So yeah, I hope you, as I mentioned, you got good information out of it, and see you again in the next video.